Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dominic with another one of your video vlogs. You'll have to excuse me for a moment as I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this video illustration to explain to some of you folks. But I'm just gathering my thoughts because I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. It's been perplexing in my head lately, and I felt my gut instincts told me that I needed to do this video. But I will give a disclaimer, though. Aside from everything that you're seeing about me, right, you see that I look slightly different with this physical appearance. I got the beard, I got this mohawk. So, despite all these different features that you're seeing about me, like, I appear to be different, but at the same time, not much has changed about me. There are moments where, you know, I am the same person that you saw before. I'm still happy, you know, I'm still very friendly, I'm still quirky. So again, not much has changed about me. You're just looking at a slightly different version of Dominic, if that makes sense. I will start off by saying this. Yes, I did go to school. No, I do not know everything. I don't understand everybody, and I don't relate to everyone in every situation. But what I do understand is this. There's no denying that a lot of things have happened this year. We've seen a lot of worldwide events. Everything from the basketball player dying in the helicopter crash with his daughter to the pandemic, the worldwide pandemic. There's no denying that there are issues going on across the country and in this country as well. We're seeing a lot of stuff going on, especially in mass media and certain social networking websites. There's a lot of stuff going on. And as I stated before, again, I did attend school, but there's still things that I still lack in. There's areas that I do lack in. And critical thinking is one of those things that I still have to hone. So that's pretty much that. So having that being said, this is probably one of these rare moments that you're going to be seeing these kind of YouTube videos. I don't really do these kind of videos. But there is a message here that I need to get out. And I'm just trying to process and gather my thoughts as to how I'm going to be able to do this, because the main intent is not to ruffle feathers. This is just from my personal understanding of what I've gathered so far and what I've seen. What I've been seeing as of lately, especially in mass media, when you look at all the stuff that's going on in the news, especially from all these deaths happening from the coronavirus pandemic to all these protests and looting that are taking place. This is a very serious issue. So just because you see somebody like me that's all happy and cheery and going about my business, there's no denying that, again, there's issues going on around the world. And I'm not denying any of these things. I will digress for a moment. One thing that I will say about me is that, you know, I'm a fairly young guy in my early 30s, and I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in hostile, and I'm not a very confrontational person. I don't deal with conflict very well. I'm seeing all these things happening that are taking place with people, and conflict is one of those things that I still struggle with, and I just don't believe in that kind of stuff. I guess you can say I'm somewhat of a peacekeeper. I'm just the kind of person that I'm neither black nor white. There has to be some sort of gray. There has to be some sort of middle in between. You have the lefts, which are talking about one situation. You have the rights that are talking about another situation. And then you're trying to find the middle. We're trying to find the middle to the confrontation, to the situation, because all these things are going on around the world. We're seeing this constant backlash, and we're seeing it more now than ever this year, and that I've ever seen in these past couple of years. It's never gotten to that point. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get started. I made a video vlog, a short Facebook video vlog. It was actually a demonstration. I'll start off by saying this. This was around about almost 4 years ago. I did this around September of 2016. During that time, I went to a demonstration because, as some of you know, if you've seen my video vlogs, I was involved in a wide variety of different programs and organizations, but I got to be an observer. This was a program, and we went down to Hofstra University. This was in Long Island. There was a presidential debate. And I got to see some of the things that were taking place. I saw the marches, I saw the demonstrations, and so I felt compelled to come home later that night, and I did this video demo, and I shared it on my Facebook page. It's not public, so many of you can't see it, but I'm going to do one right here. And so I'll cut to the chase. So here you see all these different things, right? You see these different fruits and vegetables here. You see all these different apples, these pears, you got these potatoes, and granted, they all come in different shapes and sizes. So here's the point that I'm trying to make, and I'm not going to do too much talking, but I want to show you guys, and this is the point that I'm trying to make here. I want to see if you guys understand this. I'm going to try not to cut myself, but here goes. Again, this is just from my understanding, because we're seeing all these issues going on. We're seeing all these threats between the protests, the looting, the shooting, Black Lives Matter movement. You know exactly what I'm referring to. And I want to see if this makes sense. So just bear with me for a moment. You see all these different kinds of fruits and vegetables. They come in different shapes and sizes, but they all have one thing in common, and I'm going to show you guys. Okay? So, oh no, just bear with me here. Okay, so now, here's the point that I'm going to make here. So, I just cut through all these 6 different fruits and vegetables here, between the potatoes, the apples, and the pears, right? But look what's in the inside, okay? Though these fruits and vegetables may come in all different shapes and sizes, the one thing that they do have in common is that you see the inside of the flesh. Now, it may be slightly colored and pixelated, but the one thing that they do have in common is that the inside is slightly the same color. When you think about the human race, this is the point that I'm trying to make. It doesn't matter what you see on the outside, the appearance, because it's what's on the inside that counts. Make sure you can see that. It doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter what our opinions are. It doesn't matter what our color, what our shape, how tall, how short, how wide, how skinny we are. Character is everything. The main point of this is to prove that what's on the inside matters. The good Lord is looking at our hearts. He's not looking at the way we dressed. He's not looking at the way we look, our physical appearance, the way we think, the way we conduct ourselves. So when we think about the human race, and we see all these things that are going on in the world today, we see all these mass shootings, we see all these lootings and protests. I'm not denying that these things are happening, but it's outrageous. And I feel like people miss sight of that because we're not all the same. The fact of the matter is we're all different, we're all unique, we're all special in our own unique way. The Lord and our Father, and I'm not entirely religious, but I have gone to church, but this is how we were created to be. This is diversity. So the question that I have to ask is, why are we fighting each other? Why are we constantly doing this backlash? Being political, socially, physically, all these things, the reds versus blues, it's gotten out of hand, and now people are talking about this pandemic and they're trying to make it political. My frustration is that, why are we doing this to each other? Why don't we try to find a middle to solve the situation, to put this all to pass so that we can all come together gather our thoughts and process, and just show appreciation for one another. This backlash does not have to go on. There has to be some sort of middle. If that makes any sense of what I'm trying to say, then this is what the video is intended for. So, once again, here you see before you all these different fruits and vegetables. You have two different kinds of potatoes, you have pears, you have these apples right here. Now sure, again, they come in different shapes and sizes, granted. They come in different tastes too. Some of them have that bitter taste, some of them have the sweet taste, and they look different. But the one thing that they do have in common is that they're all human. Well, I shouldn't say human, but at the same time, the inside, the flesh is the same color. We're all one race. It doesn't have to be a divide. We can come together. We can put differences aside. We can agree to disagree. We can try to put this situation to pass. It doesn't have to be this constant backlash. Have mutual respect for one another's opinions and their understandings. And just understand that not many people like us were educated the same way. There are those of us that were brought up homeschooling. Some of us had the opportunity to go to school. Some of us didn't have the opportunity to go to school. And, you know, with this whole saying about ignorance can be fixed. But at the same time, it's the person's choice. If they want to be ignorant, then that's on them. There's nothing in our part that we can do. All we can do is just throw in suggestions as to how we think that they should be able to conduct themselves and to suggest that they look into some insight and just hearing out other people's perspectives. So again, I do apologize for digressing a little bit, but I just have to reiterate what I said a little bit earlier in this video. I don't know a whole lot about people, and I don't understand ways that people think. I don't always understand perspectives, and these are things that I still struggle with in myself. But just because these are all the challenges doesn't mean that it's impossible to relearn them or to change our way of thinking. We can still redeem ourselves, if that makes sense. Also, a lot of what I'm saying in this video is to reiterate the point that I'm trying to make in this video is to just be human. Like, be compassionate towards each other. We don't have to be violent. We don't have to be hostile towards each other. We don't have to keep this going. It's been going on for way too long. Too many centuries to count. This has gone on for a very long time, and I understand people's frustrations, but the constant backlash, it's only gonna... My feeling and my intake from what I've seen, and this is just my opinion, is that it's just going to cause a further divide. It's just going to cause a further separation. There's ways to go about handling situations like proper adults. We can come to a mutual agreement. If this is going on and the other person is saying that this is going on, there has to be a way to come together. We have to find a mutual agreement somewhere. It just can't go on like this. So, having that being said, this is kind of like a note to myself video as well, because just because I'm talking to you viewers doesn't mean that I'm not talking to myself too. This is a self-reminder for me as well to read and study and know as much as I can, and to understand that people are going to have all kinds of perspectives and all kinds of opinions based on what they've seen and what they've experienced in their life. So understand that there's different kinds of people with all different kinds of walks in life. People of different shapes and sizes. And just people that don't always see eye to eye when it comes to making hard decisions and, you know, all these situations that are going on in the news today. And I think this is the video that I want to conclude right now, and I hope and pray that whoever takes this time to watch this video makes sense of what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to gather. Again, this is just from my perspective, okay? Don't just take my word for it, and this is not intended to ruffle anybody's feathers. Again, this is just from my viewpoints, and I hope that nobody that's watching this video was offended, but if there are things that there are areas that I lack in, just remind me, because I'm human, I make mistakes. If there's something that I lack in, or if there's a point that I didn't understand, just point it out to me. You know, I'll correct myself, you know, I'll re-look it up, you know, information that I may have missed. But the point is that we're all human, we all make mistakes, but more importantly, we are one race, and we all have to come together to make a difference. So again, just bear with me. I know this is kind of cliche and kind of corny, but I felt in my mind and my heart and my spirit that I had to make this demonstration to kind of convey a point here. And I hope you guys look forward to most of my future video vlogs. This will go on my regular video vlog, my video page. So please be on the lookout for future updates, and just remember some of the points that I've made, and just to try to take it in at least one day at a time.